Hello once again. I am Fitzgerald Dilim, the IT student at St. Paul University, Philippines. At this time, I'm going to share my Module 2 activity pertaining on information security and management. Lessons learned in this module includes Introduction to Security Policies, Procedures, and Standards. Number 2, highlights of various security models and frameworks being implemented in various organizations. And third, risk management concepts is also included to assess, analyze, and mitigate possible problems and formulate a clear and sound solution. So, to begin with, information security management has been defined as controls that an organization needs to implement to ensure that it is sensibly protecting the confidentiality, availability, and integrity of assets from threats and vulnerabilities. As such, to ensure success of implementing proper security, it is mandatory to ascertain that adequate security governance, together with its circumstantial security policies, procedure, and standards, are properly evaluated and enforced, assuring that risks and vulnerabilities within an organization are properly mitigated. So what is risk assessment then, and how it helps organization? So risk assessment is a thorough look at your workplace to identify those things, situation, processes, and others that may cause harm, particularly to people. After identification is made, we will analyze and evaluate how likely and severe the risk is. When this determination is made, we can now decide what measures should be in place to effectively eliminate or control the harm from happening. In this connection, the utilization of Information Security Management or ISMS in organizations represents the collation of all the interrelated or interacting information security elements of an organization so as to ensure policies, procedures, and objectives can be created, implemented, communicated, and evaluated to better guarantee an organization's overall information security. This system is typically influenced by organizations' needs, objectives, security requirements, size, and processes. To further discuss about security models and frameworks, I will emphasize first two governing institutions responsible for regulating standards. These are the ISO and IEC. ISO is the International Organization for Standardization. It was set up in 1947 and is located in Geneva, Switzerland. Its purpose is to develop standards that support and facilitate international trade, while IEC is the International Electrotechnical Commission. It was set up in 1906 and is also located in Geneva, Switzerland. Its purpose is to develop standards for all types of electrotechnologies. Both ISO and IEC are supported by national member bodies. These member bodies participate in the standards development process through technical committees. There are many models and frameworks available to use depending on the type of organization and situation. To name a few, I will enumerate some common to data community. In 1991, John McCumber created the model framework for establishing and evaluating information security assurance programs, now known as the McCumber Q. This security model is depicted as three-dimensional Rubik's Cube-like grid. The concept of this model is that in developing information assurance systems, organizations must consider the interconnectedness of all the different factors that impact them. To devise a robust information assurance program, one must consider not only the security goals of the program, but also how these goals relate specifically to the various states in which information can reside in a system and the full range of available security that must be considered in the design. Other similar models include the ISO IEC 27001, the Plan, Do, Check, Act or PDCA approach, the Information Technology Infrastructure Library or ETIL, and the Control Objectives for Information and Related Technology or COBIT, to name a few. Because operations at modern companies are increasingly computerized, IT audits are used to ensure information-related controls and processes are working properly. So what is an IT audit process? An information technology audit is the examination and evaluation of an organization's information technology infrastructure, policies, and operations. Information technology audits determine whether IT controls protect corporate assets, ensure data integrity, and are aligned with the business's overall goals. IT auditors examine not only physical security controls, but also overall business and financial controls that involve information technology systems. So what are the objectives of IT audit? So it includes first evaluating the reliability of data from IT systems which have an impact on the financial statements of the organizations. And second is to ascertaining the level of compliance with the applicable laws, policies, and standards in relation to IT, and checking if there are instances of excess, extravagance, gross inefficiency tantamount to waste in the use and management of IT systems. So the following are the basic steps in performing the information technology audit process. The first one is planning, then studying and evaluating controls. Third, testing and evaluating controls. Fourth, reporting. Then we have a follow-up and reports. Risk management and its purpose. Risk management is the identification, evaluation, and prioritization of risks, followed by coordinated and economical application of resources to minimize, monitor, and control the probability or impact of unfortunate events or to maximize the realization of opportunities. Risk management's objective is to assure uncertainty does not deflect the endeavor from the business goals. The purpose of risk management is to identify possible risks, reduce or allocate risks, provide a rational basis for better decision making in regards to all risks, and the last one is planning. So, risk treatment. What is a risk treatment? A risk treatment is mandatorily a part of an effective risk management plan. The plan here means how you respond to the reported potential risks. It details and strategies on how to deal with the various risks, whether high or low, acceptable or unacceptable. The plan also outlines the role and responsibilities of the team members. Literally, risk treatment, also known as risk control, is that part of the risk management where decisions are made about how to deal with risk, either in the external or internal environment. Various options like risk reduction, risk avoidance, risk acceptance, and risk transfer. In connection, risk response planning is the process of developing options and determining actions to enhance opportunities and reduce threats to the project's objectives. It follows the qualitative risk analysis and quantitative risk analysis processes. It includes the identification and assignment of one or more persons to take responsibility for each agreed to and funded risk response. Risk response planning addresses the risks by their priority, inserting resources and activity to the budget, schedule, and project management plan as needed. So there are four basic ways of dealing with risk. First is transfer it. If a company's total or residual risk is too high and it purchases an insurance, then it is transfer of risk to the insurance company. The next ways of how to deal with risk is reject it. If a company is in denial about its risk or ignore it, it is rejecting the risk. The third one is to reduce it. If a company implements countermeasures, it is reducing the risk. And the last but not the least, accept it. If a company understands the risk and decides not to implement any kind of countermeasures, therefore it is accepting the risk. So, what is a residual risk? Residual risk is the risk that remains after you have treated risk. Risk management involves treating risk, meaning that a choice is made to avoid, reduce, transfer, or accept each individual risk. It is difficult to completely eliminate risk, and normally, there is a residual risk that remains after each risk has been managed. Once you find out what residual risks are, what do you do with them? Basically, we have these three options. If the level of risk is below the acceptable level of risk, then you do nothing. The management needs to formally accept those risks. If the level of risk is above the acceptable level of risk, then you need to find out some new and better ways to mitigate those risks. That also means you'll need to reassess the residual risk. And if the level of risk is above the acceptable level of risk, and the cost of decreasing such risk would be higher than the impact itself, then you need to propose the management to accept those high risks. Such a systematic way ensures that management is involved in reaching the most important decisions and nothing is overlooked. So the point is, top management needs to know what risks their company will face even after various mitigation methods have been applied. After all, the top management is not just responsible for the bottom line of the company, but also for its viability. We can utilize several applications as tools to analyze risks, such as SafeSwift from Internet Security Systems, Kane Security Analyzer, Cerberus Internet Scanner. We have the NIST 800-30 or the Risk Management Guide for Information Technology Systems. We have also the OCTAVE, which stands for Operationally Critical Threat Assessment and Vulnerability Evaluation. We have the FRAP or the Facilitated Risk Assessment Process. So there you have once again the summary of my activity pertaining on information security management. Thank you very much for listening.